Hey, what's up, you guys? I just wanted to make this rant or whatever. I didn't rehearse this video. I don't rehearse most of my videos. If you can't tell, and my shirt is inside out. My shirt is inside out, and I just fucking noticed it. Damn it. Um, apologize. Well, actually, I don't. I mean, I'm just so fucking sexy, man. I mean, seriously. No. Anyways, okay, putting it back the other way. Um, okay, so anyways, now that I'm back to my sexy self, alright. So I wanted to rant about the generation that we are in now, and, how basically, how people bitch and complain and moan and cry about it and shit, being like, I wish I was a teenager in the 80s. I wish I was a teenager in the 70s. I wish I was a teenager and all this bullshit. Well, see, here's the thing about it is, man, like, because most of the time it's the whole music thing. Is because, like, like in the 80s, Guns N' Roses came out, and Van Halen was getting popular in the 80s, and, seeing all these bands and stuff coming up in the 90s, and today we have the category of the groups called the 90s kids. The whole 90s kids things, basically, I refer to it as bullshit, because this is my philosophy, and this is my definition of a 90s kid. Someone who was a teenager in the 90s. And we have these people who were born in 1994, 1992, 1990. Just because they lived through the 90s does not mean they are 90s kids. It means they were 90s babies. You were born in the 90s. That didn't mean you lived through them. Because, I mean, you got shows like Ed, Edd n Eddy, you got shows like Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, all that stupid bullshit that basically came out in the 90s. Which is cool. I'm not saying they're bad shows or whatever, but they're like, man, I miss these shows, I miss this shit, I miss being in the 90s and missing these shows. Dude, if you were born literally in 94, or if you were born in 92, if you were born in any of that shit, when those shows came out, you were literally probably at my age in 1998. I was about 5 years old. I don't even remember that shit coming out, man. I remember being in around 2004 and sitting around the house and watching it when I was younger. 2004, I was around 10. Yeah, I was around 10 in 2004. So I was sitting around then and I was watching it around that time. And I do not remember any of that bullshit coming from the 90s because I was born in 1994. My birthday is next month, and I'm going to be 18 then. And that fucking bullshit is just what I don't understand is these people. They say that they're from that generation and they're from that time. It's like, dude, when Kurt Cobain died, you literally probably weren't even born. If you were born in like 1997 and all that bullshit, dude, you don't. There's nothing to miss. You won't remember any of it. It goes through like the 2000s and all that bullshit. Is when the shows started getting popular, and that's when you started liking the shows and you started being into the shows and you started liking the shows. It's not because they were in the 90s. I see this shit on Facebook all the time with like these fucking pencils, fucking weird looking pencil things that they had in the 90s, and these fucking this shit, and they're like if you remember. And it's like, dude, and I see a whole bunch of friends that I have on Facebook, I see them liking it and shit. I'm like, dude, like if you remember this and like if you missed the 90s. Dude, you don't even remember the shit in the 90s, dude. I fucking have those pencils One of those little pencils. I had one of those. I did have one of those. But I had that one when I was around 10. And that was around in 2004 when I finally got one of those. So dude, that's just a whole lot of bullshit, dude. You don't belong in the 90s generation. The 90s generation is someone who was born in like fucking 76 and then was a teenager in the 90s. You were like 18 in 94. That is a 90s kid. And you'd be in your 30s now. That's the thing about it. And I don't give a shit what any of you people say, because you're probably going to come up to me and just say shit like that. You see the bitterness and being a fucking... Not being a 90s kid, dude. Honestly, if it means being a stuck-up little shit, dude, trust me, I don't want to be one. I'm very happy with the way things are. I'm not very satisfied with this generation. No, I'm not. But take this into perspective. People bitch about the music. They bitch about everything. Basically being like, oh, okay, I wish I was from the 60s so then I could go see Hendrix. True, I wish I was too. That is a fact. I wish I was, dude. I would love to have seen The Doors. I would have loved to have seen Hendrix. I would have loved to have seen Led Zeppelin when they first came out. It would have been awesome to see. But, I mean, we still got bands now. You know, they've gotten older, but the bands are still around. They just gotten older. Just because it's 2012 right now and we're going into the teens, you know, just because they're older, that doesn't mean anything. It's still, the music is still there. The generation is still in that one area that you're in. When you go to a Skid Row show, or like Warrant, or like Van Halen, or any shit like that, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. You know, in there, dude, you see people with the fluffed up hair, and you see people with the fucking bell-bottom jeans. You see all those fucking people dressing the way that they do and acting the way that they do and being who they are. Dude, the 80s are still there, man. The 80s are still fucking there. And rock and roll will never die. That's just something I'll tell everyone right now. It doesn't matter all the bullshit that's out. Because take this into perspective. 1978. Disco. Disco is basically like rap music today. I'm comparing the two. I'm not saying they're alike. People in that time, there were people who liked disco. And then there were people who liked Zeppelin. Disco and Zeppelin. Here are the people. This is disco. And this is Zeppelin. People from Zeppelin, or whichever one that I pointed to was Zeppelin, I'm just going to rename them. Okay. People who like Zeppelin did not like these people. People who liked disco did not like those people. Basically, rap music, say if you like Lil Wayne, you're not going to like someone who listens to Escape the Fate. But it's the same thing. There was shitty music back then, and there's shitty music now. And disco isn't rock and roll. The Bee Gees isn't rock. The fucking ABBA isn't fucking rock. It's fun to listen to, but it's not rock. It's not all that shit. It's not. And it's true. But the thing about it is, it was out then, and it's still out now. There's always going to be shitty music in every generation, which is what people don't understand. The shitty music is always going to be out. And I guarantee you, back in like the 1980s, they were like, oh my god, man, I wish I was born in like, I wish I could have been a teenager in the 60s. I wish I could have been in the 70s. The kids who live in the 60s would have loved to like be younger. It would have been born before then and like been able to see Robert Johnson or Muddy Waters or some shit like that when they were still young and everything. You know, it's a cycle. And I guarantee you, you know, when I have kids and when my kids have kids and when their kids have kids, they're gonna be there, and they're gonna be like, I wish I was born in my great grandpa's generation, because I mean there's new music coming out now. It's 2000. It's about to be 2013, dude. We have to basically get used to the fact that those generations are over, but inside here, it will never be over. Because I still listen to the music my grandparents were listening to. I listen to the music my dad listened to. And when I have children, I'm going to base that music on them. And I'm going to say, hey, this is good music. I'm going to raise them on that music and everything. Because it's what good music is. And, I went to see Skid Row about a couple weeks ago, and about a week or so ago, I don't really remember. There was this little kid, in the front of the stage, man. He was 8 years old. Imagine if he's not gonna grow. He's already there. Imagine about 20 years from now, what that kid is not gonna do. You think he's gonna want to be in a rock band? Hell yeah, he's gonna want to be in. He's going to want to be in a rock band. Obviously. This is the whole music thing he wants to be. It's like, how many little kids do you see at a Van Halen concert? I guarantee you, man. When Guns N' Roses came out, my dad, he was born in '72, and Guns N' Roses came out around '85. Around that time, man, my dad wasn't even thinking about having me. When it came up, and then coming on to like when I could finally understand shit and I wasn't like a complete retard, he taught me about rock. And then I started picking stuff up from there and there and there and there and there. He taught me the story, and I'm going to teach my kids the story. Rock and roll will live forever, dude. It's like a quote from Tenacious D: "You can't kill the metal will live on." No matter what generation it is, whether it's 2013 or 3013, it's always going to be there. The generation of rock and roll will always stay. And people are like, well, when your parents' generation dies out, ours is going to take over. Yes, it's going to take over, but also it's going to be at a price. There's going to be, there's going to be the rockers, and there's going to be the metalheads. There's going to be the Zeppelin fans. They're going to keep going and going and going and going and going. I mean, shit, man. B.B. King came out when? He's 85 years old. B.B. King is 85 years old. There are still people who listen to him today. Elvis Presley, man. Dude, he could be my dad's grandpa. Shit, man. And it's still around. I'm sorry I had to answer a text, but I mean, seriously, the generation is still around, and it's never going to die out. Rock and roll is always going to live on forever. Yeah, but here's the thing about shitty music. Say, if you don't like rap music, if you hate rap music, don't listen to it. That's as simple as it has to be. Don't listen to it. Listen to what you want to listen to, but don't give people a hard time that do listen to it. I personally don't agree with them. I think rap music is bullshit. Honestly, I think it is bullshit. Lil Wayne, that's all I literally hear. Pussy, that's all I fucking hear. But guess what? Am I going to listen to that stupid bullshit? Hell no. I am going to sit and listen to what matters. I'm not going to listen to the bullshit. And these same people, they were back then, they were listening to disco, and people were like, disco's bullshit. Disco, fuck disco, all this. It's basically all that it takes. That's all it takes. If you don't like it, then don't listen to it. Listen to what matters. And if you don't like people who listen to rap music, don't talk to them. That's all it takes. Just don't talk to them. Be mature. It's pretty simple. Yeah. totally simple. It's a simple thing to do. Personally, I feel that it's kind of bullshit how some of these people get famous, but you know, you think the whole rap music generation is taking over. It's not, man. I guarantee you, there's more rockers in this world than there are rappers. I guarantee you that because our parents raised us better. But you got those white kids that are crazy, and you got those colored kids that are crazy. But I mean, who are who are gonna like fuse with each other basically. But it's cool. The music will never die out. Music has life, and I guarantee you, 30 years from now, I will still be listening to the Beatles. I will still be listening to Zeppelin. When they all pass away, I'm still going to be listening to them, and I will still go to rock shows, and I will still do all this. Rock and roll live forever, and for those who are about to rock, I salute you, and for those who listen to shitty music, that's basically all you have to say. So continue to listen to your bullshit music, but I'm going to listen to something that matters. And you can do what you think is right. That's all I have to say about that. I'm out. Yeah.